My name is Selvara Selim. I'm 32 years old. Last night, something really upsetting happened. My fiancé, Kiliorn, ruined our engagement in front of a live video online, and he was smiling the whole time. It was supposed to be his guy's night, a night for him and his friends to hang out. I was at home. My hair was tied up because I didn't feel like fixing it, and I was working on my spreadsheets. I like to keep track of money, and that night I was trying to convince our budget that flowers didn't cost as much as used cars. I got bored. I scrolled on my phone. That's when I saw a notification. Tavern Cade is live streaming. He was spilling gossip about pre-wedding stuff. Tavern is Kiliorn's friend. He's very loud and funny in a way that can be a little too much sometimes. I clicked on the video because I was curious just to see what was happening. The video opened, and I saw a messy coffee table. There were empty cans, boxes from takeout food, and little crumbs scattered everywhere. Tavern was sitting in the middle of the couch holding his phone up like he was a king holding a scepter. Kiliorn, Ciro, and Riven were all there too. Music played quietly in the background, but everyone acted like they were very important and very confident. At first, it seemed like harmless joking. They made jokes about the wedding venue and suits versus tuxedos. Tavern waved his phone around as if he were showing everyone in the world what was happening. Then Tavern said something that made my stomach twist. Kiliorn, how's the future Mrs. Selim holding up? Still checking all her spreadsheets. Everyone laughed. Kiliorn smirked a little. She's organized, he said. Say it loud. Riven laughed. Ciro leaned in. Be honest. How's Miss Perfect really doing? Kiliorn sighed. He sounded like it was hard for him to answer. She's sometimes clueless. She thinks weddings are just boxes to check. Budgets, timelines, seating charts. No idea about the real stuff, he said. Tavern cheered. The training program starts after the honeymoon. Kiliorn continued. Day 1. Out with the boring apartment, in with the dream house. She'll pay for it too. The girl's got a good salary. He clinked bottles with Ciro. Then he said something that hurt me even more. She's manageable. It wasn't just what he said that hurt. It was how he said it. He didn't sound like he was joking. He sounded mean. My chest got tight. I felt something cold climb up my spine and sit on my shoulder. I stared at the chat messages flying by. People I didn't know were sending laughing emojis, fire emojis, and other silly reactions. They didn't know what it felt like to watch someone you love talk about you like you're nothing. Ciro sang some songs to tease him. You've got her wrapped, bro, safe. She'll never know. Tavern nudged the camera closer. Kiliorn smiled and tilted his head, the same expression I used to love. He said, She thinks I'm her sweet, boring angel. They all laughed. Someone spilled a drink. The microphone crackled. I don't remember deciding to type, but my fingers moved on their own. I wrote in the chat. Selvara Selim verified. Am I on screen? Tavern's face changed first. His eyes darted to the chat. He elbowed Kiliorn. Kiliorn squinted at the comments. His smirk disappeared. He said my name slowly, like he forgot how to say it. I typed again, carefully, like I was being very precise. Selvara Selim. Since you're sharing with everyone, clarity for everyone. The wedding is off. Engagement ended. Please fund your dream house with someone else. Have a good night. The room on the video went silent. Tavern fumbled. Riven swore. Ciro reached for the phone. Kiliorn's mouth moved, but no sound came out. The video froze and then went offline. My phone blew up with calls and messages. Kiliorn. Vess. Answer. Please pick up. This is a joke. Isolde, his mother. Call me now. This is not how adults behave. Tavern. It's just banter. You're overreacting. Unknown numbers were sending messages too. My phone sounded like a story trying to push its way out of a locked closet. I put my phone face down. The ring we designed together, the one with tiny sapphires under the diamond like secret stars, glittered in its dish. It looked heavy. It felt heavy. 15 minutes passed. Then someone rang the doorbell. I saw them on the camera I had installed after a neighbor had stolen a package. Kiliorn was flushed and panicked. Isolde, his mother, looked furious and perfect. I opened the door with the chain still on. Selvara, Kiliorn said, out of breath. It was just a joke. I'm sorry. I love you. I was showing off. I was stupid. Isolde elbowed him aside. Young lady, you humiliated my son over a silly prank. You can't end a wedding in a comment section. You must take it back. I looked at them calmly. Kiliorn publicly humiliated me in front of strangers while saying he plans to manage me and my money. I will not take it back. Kiliorn reached for the door. The chain held strong. Let's talk inside privately. I said, we'll keep it consistent, meaning no. Isolde's voice got sharp. Do you know how this looks? You're making a scene. I stood firm. You went live. I'm making a decision. Privacy ended when you chose the internet over a conversation. Kiliorn's face dropped. Ves, don't do this. I thought about what he meant by manageable. Silence filled the hallway. Isolde said, this is outrageous. You will fix this. We'll meet with the venue in the morning and discuss your apology. No, I said. I repeated it. The wedding is off. The engagement is over. You may email me about logistics, nothing else. Isolde looked shocked. Do you know what people will think? You raised a son who acts mean online. I said calmly, and I declined to marry it. Kiliorn looked sad. For a moment, I saw the man I had loved, nervous, funny, gentle. Then I remembered how he laughed while selling me for jokes. Please, he said, Ves, don't do this here. I thought of the camera watching. I closed the door to the chain. Isolde shouted through the wood. We are not finished. I said through the door. We are. You can email me. That's it. I locked the deadbolt I had installed when he first moved in. The lock clicked like a period. The banging stopped after a while. The street went quiet. Not empty, but earned. I put the ring back in its dish and opened a fresh document on my computer. I wrote a timeline of what happened. 8:13 p.m., Tavern's live stream begins. 8:27 p.m., she's so clueless. Manageable. Salary funds. Dream house. 8:29 p.m., I comment. 8:30 p.m., I end engagement in comments. 8:47 p.m., doorbell. Kiliorn and Isolde arrive. 8:55 p.m., door secured. Lawyering begins. I saved the screen recording and doorbell video in a folder called Evidence. I also pulled receipts for deposits into another folder and screenshots of Isolde's texts. I labeled everything carefully. My phone lit up again. Tavern posted a story of a black screen saying, people can't take a joke these days. I didn't respond. I had facts. The apartment felt new even though nothing had changed. Same couch, same lamp, same photo of us on the shelf. I didn't take it down. I turned my phone face down. I brewed tea I wouldn't drink and stood by the window while the city lights twinkled. Somewhere, Tavern was telling a different story. Somewhere, Isolde was calling other mothers. Somewhere, Kiliorn was learning that jokes have sharp edges. I remembered my father's voice after my first breakup. When people tell you their plans for you, listen to the verbs. Manage, train, fund. I exhaled. Steam ghosted the glass and disappeared. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't shouting. I was filing. A different kind of power. Then, an email arrived from a law firm I didn't know. Theron and Crane LLP. Subject. Urgent. Engagement dispute. Kiliorn Thorne vs. Selvara Selim. I didn't open it. Instead, I wrote on my timeline, tomorrow call Aurelia Quen. Then I powered down my phone, slid the ring into a small velvet box, and set it beside my passport. I'd decide later what to do with both. By morning, the city was back to normal. My phone was not. Unknown numbers, urgent subject lines, messages that felt like they were trying to break in. I didn't answer. I made coffee, opened my timeline, and added a new line. 9:06 a.m., retain counsel. I called Aurelia Quen, a lawyer whose voice sounded like clean glass. I had met her once at a fundraiser. She told me a story about bad actors and good paperwork that stayed with me because she ended it simply. They run into the facts. I told her everything. She listened quietly. Do you have the live video? She asked. I said yes, and that I also had the doorbell recording. She said, good. Don't respond to anyone else. Forward all messages to me. Open a new email just for this. Keep it safe. I followed her instructions. The Theron and Crane email was first. Their client, Kiliorn, wanted mediation for emotional distress and reimbursement for wedding deposits. They said $10,000 for deposits, half mine, and $5,000 for his suffering. I forwarded it to Aurelia with a single line, attaching the evidence. Then I sat down, breathed, and finally let myself feel calm. I realized I hadn't lost anything essential. I had found my own power, my own safety, and my own voice. I looked at the ring one last time before deciding I would keep it for now, not as a promise, but as proof of what I had learned. Never let anyone plan your life for you. By 11 o'clock, I was in a rideshare going to my office. The driver was a woman with shiny gray hair braided down her back and a serious face, like she had seen a lot in life. She had the radio on, playing music that made me feel like my back was tapping along with it without me thinking. The kind of music that made my spine move like a little metronome. I looked out the window as the city passed by, feeling a little nervous about what I might see when I got to the office. We stopped at the curb, and I saw them through the glass of the building lobby, Kalier and Isolde. Kalier looked messy and upset, like he had just rolled out of bed and hadn't had time to brush his hair. He was clutching his phone tightly, like it was the only thing keeping him from falling apart. Isolde stood completely still, her face perfect and calm but angry, her thin lips and sharp eyes showing that she was ready to fight if she had to. The security guard at the front desk looked like he wished he could be anywhere else, like maybe he wanted to be at home watching cartoons or reading a book. Isolde saw me first and raised her hand in a wave. But it wasn't really a friendly wave. It was a warning, like a queen giving a signal to the soldiers. She said, "Salvara, you can't hide behind emails. We need to talk like adults." "We are adults," I said. "That's why I brought an adult word." I pointed at the floor mat. "This is the lobby, not the place. Please leave." Kalier stepped forward, looking like he didn't know what to do with his hands. "Can we talk?" "Just 5 minutes, please," he said, trying to sound calm. "We had an audience last night," I said, thinking about all the people who had watched the whole mess. "Today it will just be me and my lawyer." Isolde turned quickly to the receptionist at the front desk. "Get her manager," she said, her voice sharp. "She's making a mess in the lobby." The security guard said softly, "Ma'am, you need to step back." It took 10 long minutes, and the help of security to get them outside. 10 minutes where I learned that being embarrassed can stretch asylum shiny floors and polite voices, but still snap like a rubber band in your chest. I went upstairs, closed my office door, leaned my forehead against the cool glass of the window, and breathed out a long apology to the day for everything it had already been asked to hold. The city below looked quiet and small, and I wished the world could be that calm inside my office. Aurelia, my lawyer, replied to the other lawyer with a short, sharp letter. She said that my client, me, had been treated badly, that the engagement with them was ended because of their public disrespect, and that any money they had given was their own problem. She included clips from the live video that proved it. She also sent me a note saying, "You did the right thing yesterday. Today we will make it stick." At lunch, the bank called. A kind man named Soren asked if I had tried to buy $812 of fancy skin cream and a $965 watch. "No," I said. An authorized user tried. The cards were declined. Freeze their access immediately. It turned out that months ago, I had added Kalier to a store card for wedding emergencies. But after everything last night, I had removed him from every obvious way to access my money. I asked the bank to remove him completely and watch for any future attempts. Soren said it was already done, and I would receive an affidavit confirming it. I hung up, made a new folder on my computer called Financial Pokes, and put the emails there. That folder felt like the start of a story nobody wants to write. At 3 p.m., my HR director, Lyra, sent me a message. "Can you come to my office? We received an anonymous email saying you might be controlling or misusing money at work. We have to check." My stomach dropped all the way down to my feet. I said, "This is from Kalier's people. His friend Tavern likes to cause trouble. His mom has lots of contacts." I handed Lyra Aurelia's letter, the live video screenshots, and a short statement. I explained that this was retaliation for ending a business engagement after they were rude and tried to take advantage of me financially. The facts were clear and calm. The check took 2 days. Nothing came up, of course. But I still woke up at 3 a.m. both nights, heart racing, thinking about how quickly lies can grow if no one stops them. I wrote in my journal, "They want drama. Give them documentation." I wanted everything written down neat and exact, so no one could twist it. On the 3rd day, Aurelia sent a cease and desist letter to Kalier, Isolde, and Tavern. It told them to stop contacting me, stop spreading lies, stop trying to get my money, and warned them that there would be consequences if they didn't. It sounded sharp and serious, like a courtroom voice. Kalier replied with a long voicemail. He called me heartless for bringing lawyers into our personal mess, then said, "We can still fix this." And finally, "You owe me for what you did to my reputation." I wrote down everything he said, saved the audio, and did not reply. That night, I checked Instagram. Tavern posted a black screen with white words. "Some people can't handle strong men joking with friends." Isolde posted a story in a neighborhood group about women who try to control things under the name of boundaries. I took screenshots, made a folder called Defamation Soft, and kept scrolling until the feed was just food and dogs again. The next morning, HR told me the anonymous complaint was dismissed, and any more anonymous emails would go into a folder that no one opens without a subpoena. I thanked Lyra and went to the bathroom to splash cold water on my tired face. Walking back, I saw myself in the hallway glass. I looked like someone who had carried a lot of weight very quickly. I didn't hate it. I just hoped nobody else had to feel it. At home, I took a photo of my face on a shelf and put it in a drawer. Not in anger, just keeping it safe. I left a ring in its box next to my passport. I hadn't decided what to do with it yet. Melt it? Sell it? Keep it? Options are like treasure, and having choices can feel like being rich. At dusk, Aurelia called. We are done asking nicely. We're filing for a restraining order, harassment, attempted financial fraud, and ruining your reputation. We'll attach all the evidence, the live video, doorbell video, bank notices, HR's report, all the burner calls. I hate this, I said. Not the filing, but the whole sad mess. I know, she said, but you'll love the quiet after. We put together the affidavit with my statement, bank records, HR's report, security logs from the lobby, and my neighbor Saren's note about how loud and scary the front porch incident had been. 2 nights later, I stood on my balcony holding the kind of quiet that only comes after a storm. I looked at the city lights and felt a strange calm. Then my phone rang. I knew the number without looking. "VS," Kalier said, small and quiet for once. "I'm sorry. Tavern is an idiot." My mom panicked. "I'm not that guy." I saw a moth fly at a light until it realized the light wouldn't love it back. "You were that guy," I said when it counted. There was silence. "Can we meet?" "Just to talk," he said. "No. Tavern. Email Aurelia," I said and hung up. I put the phone down carefully like it was fragile, like a glass that could break if I held it wrong. The hearing date came by email. 2 weeks. The court name looked plain and serious. Aurelia sent a calendar invite 1 minute later. I accepted. Before bed, I opened the file on my laptop. Evidence, financial pokes, defamation software, pressure, timeline, HR, security. I felt calm. Not because of what was inside, but because it was all neat and clear. I backed it up in 2 separate places. Belt and suspenders. I wrote in my journal, "I will not argue with the wind. I will stack stones and let the wind argue with them." Then I turned off the light, got under the quilt, and slept like someone who had chosen peace and would guard it. 2 weeks later, I stood in the big, echoing county courthouse. The air was cold and smelled like paper and judgment. I wasn't nervous, just alert. Everything that could explode already had. Aurelia met me by the vending machines. Her navy suit was perfect, her hair in a sharp knot. She handed me a small folder. "Just in case you need to remind yourself why we're here," she said. Inside were screenshots, the live video transcript, bank emails, HR closure notice. Everything that proved the other side's lies couldn't stand. At 9:42 a.m., we walked into courtroom 3C. On the left bench sat Kalier, his mom, Isolde, and their lawyer, Mr. Theron. He doesn't look confident now. Tavern sat in the back chewing a straw, wishing he could disappear. When the judge came into the room, everything changed. People stopped talking about small things and got very serious. He was old and careful with his words, his voice rough but steady from years of speaking. We all stood up, then sat back down, waiting quietly. Aurelia went first. Her voice didn't get loud, but it cut through the room like a sharp knife. She said, "This case isn't about broken hearts. It's about someone being mean and unfair." She showed a video from a live stream where people were laughing and saying things like, "Clueless, manageable, fund my dream house." Then she played another recording where Isolde yelled at the door, left a mean voicemail about embarrassing her son, sent secret texts, tried to use a fake credit card, and even made false complaints at work. Kiliorn sat very still, her hands white from gripping the chair. When Aurelia talked about an anonymous email sent to HR, Isolde hissed. But the judge held up his hand. "Quiet, ma'am," he said. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. Aurelia looked at Tavern. "Your Honor," she said, "we have proof that Mr. Leon, because either Mr. Thorne or his mom asked him to, sent lies about Ms. Selim to her co-workers." Tavern's eyes got big. I didn't send those messages," he said. Before his lawyer could stop him, Isolde leaned forward. "You told me you did," she snapped. The room went very quiet, like all the air had left. The judge sighed. "Ms. Thorne, please don't help your case," he said. Aurelia didn't smile. She just handed over printed posts. "For the record, Your Honor," Aurelia said, "Mr. Theron tried to make Kiliorn look bad. He said she was heartbroken and made mistakes because she was embarrassed. The judge didn't look impressed. Then he asked the question that ended everything. Mr. Thorne, did you or did you not call your fiancé manageable on a live broadcast where others could hear? Kiliorn's jaw tightened. I was joking, he said. The judge looked at all the emails, the fake credit card, the work problems. Kiliorn didn't answer, but her silence said more than words could. The judge gave a short verdict. Restraining order granted. 1 year, renewable if broken. No contact, directly or through others in person or online. He looked at Isolde. That includes you, Miss Thorne. She opened her mouth, but the judge said, closed. Tavern looked like he might disappear. Mr. Theron muttered something about recording objections. Aurelia thanked the judge in a quick, professional way. As we left the courtroom, Kiliorn called my name softly, not angry, just sad. Selvara, she said. I stopped but didn't turn. He said, I didn't think it would end like this. I answered without looking at him. Endings don't get rehearsed. Then I walked away. Outside, the sunlight felt good, like I had earned it. Everything looked the same, but I felt different. Aurelia touched my arm. It's over, she said. I nodded. Not really, but quieter now. She smiled softly. That's how it begins. The quiet came slowly, little by little. The fight over the venue ended. Both sides gave up their deposits. The florist sent a polite card with a store credit. Aurelia's office sent me a letter from Mr. Theron, officially saying they wouldn't try anything more. Even my phone stopped making me jump at unknown numbers. I started sleeping well, cooking again, and not checking every sound, afraid someone was calling me. One Saturday, I took out the velvet ring box. I opened it, closed it, and walked it to a jeweler. I sold it quietly. The money wasn't much, but it was clean. I used it to pay the last shared bill, bought a new doorbell, and booked a weekend by the coast. No Bali this time, just cliffs, air, and no one expecting anything from me. There I took a photo of the dark, endless ocean. I posted it with one caption. Married today, self-respect. No tags, no comments, just quiet that said everything. Weeks passed. I rebuilt my group of friends carefully. Some friends quietly left, others stayed like familiar furniture. When people asked how I was, I said, lighter. And I meant it. Sometimes I heard small updates. Kiliorn had moved back home. Tavern deleted his accounts. Isolde was thinking about her own behavior. I didn't feel happy about their punishment. I didn't care about revenge. Consequences aren't revenge, they're like gravity. Everything that goes up without truth eventually falls. On what would have been our wedding day, I woke up before sunrise. The calendar pinged as usual. Ceremony 2 p.m. I laughed softly and turned off the alert. Then I made coffee, opened my window, and let the wind in. It smelled like rain and something new, not fear or pretending. I sat at my kitchen table, the same one where I once watched a live stream destroy a future. I thought about how he called me clueless. He was wrong. I wasn't clueless. I was quiet, listening. And when the truth got loud enough, I acted. That's not clueless. That's clarity. I closed my laptop, poured my coffee into a mug that said, "Do not disturb," and finally felt honestly free.